September 11. Most of you would know this date, right? 9/11/2001. Twin Towers, Pentagon, flying aircrafts, you know the rest. India too has its own September 11 event, but it also had no impact on most parts of the country. On this fateful day, the then President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, gave his assent to the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. To understand the Act, let us try to understand India in 1958. While most of India as we know it was integrated with the country, the Northeast was far less enthusiastic about the idea. From Assam to Arunachal, separatist movements sprung across the region. AFSPA at that time was meant to address this, but we are not in 1958 now, are we? I'm Rifa Deka and you are watching Decoded.
Pursuing for months.
A village of Assam.
In the 75th Independence Day,
Why in 2021 do we have laws that go against equality and federal structure of the Constitution and cause so much pain and suffering? Well, first, let us understand the Act better and why many people object to the same. Take Section 4 of the Act for example. It allows officers the authority to take any action, even causing death. The powers granted under Section 4 are given a booster shot by Section 6, which provides that no prosecution, suit or any other legal proceeding can be instituted except with the previous sanction of the central government against anything done or purported to be done in exercise of the powers conferred by the Act. Now, for objectivity, we must mention that the authority to kill a person is in context, so to speak. The Act says that such action can be taken only if the officer deems it necessary for the maintenance of public order and after giving due warning. In short, if you kill an innocent person because you were suspicious, it's fine as long as you had a reason. Now, while many people believe such laws should not be used even against anti-state forces, the criticism of AFSPA rises even more when civilians die. Take the case of Manipur for example. If there is one state that has borne the brunt of AFSPA atrocities, it is Manipur. Who can after all forget the nearly 2-decade-long battle of Iram Sharmila against AFSPA? In 2016, AFSPA was at the center of controversy when the Supreme Court clarified that Section 6 of the Act would not grant total immunity to the officers against any probe into their alleged excesses. In Extrajudicial Execution Victim Families Association versus Union of India, a bench of justices, Madan Lokur and UU Lalit, noted if an offense is committed even by army personnel, there is no concept of absolute immunity from trial by the criminal court constituted under CRPC. To contend that this would have a demoralizing impact on the security forces is certainly one way of looking at it. But from the point of view of a citizen, living under the shadow of a gun that can be wielded with impunity, outright acceptance of the proposition advanced is equally unsettling and demoralizing, particularly in a constitutional democracy like ours. Importantly, the court also rejected the union's submission that a person carrying weapons in violation of prohibitory orders in the disturbed area of Manipur is ipso facto an enemy, or that the security forces in Manipur in such a case are dealing with an enemy as defined in Section 3 of the Army Act. After the Mon massacre, the Nagaland CM and the Meghalaya CM were just two of the top leaders who criticized AFSPA and asked the centre to repeal the Draconian Act. However, as early as 1998, there were attempts made by human rights organizations to get this act removed. In 1998, Naga People's Movement of Human Rights versus Union of India, the Supreme Court unanimously decided to uphold the constitutionality of AFSPA by holding that the act does not confer arbitrary powers to declare an area as disturbed area. The court viewed the law primarily through the lens of legislative competence and held that the parliament had power to enact the law. The court had observed that even though the constitution did allow for the deployment of the armed forces to aid civil forces, such deployment could only occur for a temporary period until situation of normalcy was restored. It further said that it would be desirable if state governments are consulted by the central government before declaring an area as disturbed area. In 2004, following the custodial death of Manorama in Manipur at the hands of the armed forces and ensuing protests, the Union government constituted a committee to review the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958. The result, the committee headed by Justice B.P. Jeevan Reddy, recommended that AFSPA be repealed. The content of this report has never officially been revealed by the government. The Reddy Committee interestingly recommended that appropriate provisions be inserted in the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 instead. It also recommended that the UAPA be modified to clearly specify the powers of the armed forces and paramilitary forces, and grievance cells should be set up in each district where the armed forces are deployed. Despite demands by civil society groups and human rights activists, none of the recommendations have been implemented till date. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the current central government fully supports AFSPA. Time and again, the BJP has backed the law in the name of protecting the country's borders and time against, well, every enemy. While regional parties may oppose AFSPA, Rio, who is in alliance with the BJP, can really not do much except ask for the act to be repealed. Such is the grip of the central government on the matter that the BJP unit of Manipur said it would repeal AFSPA if voted to power in 2014. The result? Nada. In recent times, Assam's CM and NEDA chairman Himanta Biswa Sarma has thrown his weight around AFSPA too. It is unlikely that the Northeast will see an end to AFSPA. Between claims of fighting insurgency and managing political aspirations of local leaders, there is little doubt that AFSPA will remain in place. Unless, of course, the people of Nagaland, Manipur and Meghalaya have other plans. Maybe they could take lessons from the farmers' protest. Only time will tell. But for now, AFSPA remains in place and Mon district continues to mourn. District continues to
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to EastMojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.